Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a react and kind of unpackaging things that were announced and shown from the Chaos Zero Nightmare Twitter page regarding new characters in the game. We haven't seen too much, but there are some clues from the reveals that they have right now that I think are pretty worth investigating and talking about. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, if we take a look at the initial first character that they've shown here, at first it just looks like they are showing you the live 2D, which if we just take a moment to appreciate this, it looks pretty good. The character looks well designed. It is I guess, of a specific art style. Whether or not you choose to appreciate or whether or not you like the art style is completely neither here nor there. However, things that are important to note about here is that number one, there are expressions, at least from what we can tell. Whether that is something that you unlock through friendship, I'm not completely sure. But as you see here on the 1, 2, and 3, it looks like there are 3 different expressions that you can unlock or that will be coming with the characters. This is Beryl. Another thing that's kind of interesting is that if you looked at the name for Beryl, right below it, you see that there is a faction, Iron Rain, alongside an occupation, which is Ranger. Now, important to note about this is that this is already beginning to develop the element and then the class system for the game. Presumably, we can't confirm, but I'm not really sure why else they would include a faction and then occupation. At the very minimum, it doesn't feel like a specific lore reason for them to include that Beryl is a ranger. And although you could maybe argue that the faction is something just story related and doesn't really involve whether or not there are going to be things like elemental or elements or things of that nature, I think no matter what, the ranger and the fact that she's literally carrying what looks like an artillery gun or like some sort of gun indicates that there is going to be a class system for Chaos Zero Nightmare, which I guess is good news, which is kind of nice. But just to know, or I guess just to note, it is nice knowing that we do have Rangers. But outside of this, and again, outside of appreciating the art, which I think, again, the live 2D looks pretty good, we have another teaser for another character. This is Haru, and this time the faction is Terrascion, and the occupation is Student. Now, this is where originally what I just said kind of made sense, where it was, oh, okay, well, this is a class. She is a ranger. But now with the occupation being a student and the fact that she has whatever this is, this kind of looks like a flail, holy flail looking thing. She does still share all of the expressions or the expressions that the previous character Beryl had, but actually, because now there's an occupation being a student, I cannot imagine that there is going to be a class system that involves Haru being a student. I don't really know what a student class would look like. It doesn't even maybe pass off as a student being a mage or things of this nature. But of course, I think that the live 2D looks great. There are some cute expressions or nice looking expressions for the character as well. But Terrascion, that's another faction that they've kind of unveiled. And before anything else, there are also other trailers or other teasers. But again, before we get into that, make sure to join their Discord and follow all these things so that you can get extra posts or you get the chance for the Amazon gift cards. Beyond that, though, there have also been, again, apologies. There are a bit of clues or teasers towards what the story is going to be about. I haven't looked too deeply into what the story is, but just from the teasers that we've seen and the trailers that we've seen, it looks to be somewhat of a mind break and or, as it says, like some sort of nightmare, alternate reality, alternate world, horror, or maybe just suspenseful kind of world building that they're doing with this game. It does remind me a lot of what I think a couple people had mentioned, something like an Arknights or a Nikke or even a Counterside, which I think is really cool because those games have been pretty successful, I would say, in the gacha market. But even in the... I don't know why Twitter has such bad sound equalizing, by the way. I sincerely apologize. But again, there are also teasers here for the characters. We don't really know exactly what this means, but just based off of the art, based off of the story, and based off of the clues that we see right now, it is likely going to be, of course, another gacha game, especially because there's so many characters, and they've kind of teased it, at least right now. It feels like it's being posed or kind of introduced as a gacha game. But the adult content, by the way, was literally just for their banner. But of course, I think that seeing the different characters, seeing the different, I guess, photos, all the different introductions for the game is pretty interesting. And I kind of just wanted to give my thoughts about what I think the game or how the game is going to perform based on the way that their past titles or Smilegate's past titles have performed. Now, to be clear, epicseven, unrelated to Lost Ark, I think was pretty successful. At the start of the game, there were many, many people that enjoyed the game. It is still to this day, in my opinion, one of the most dedicated community having gacha games out there. They don't appeal to the mass, necessarily to the widest or massivist, if that's even a word, of audiences. But based on how epicseven performed, you could suggest that Chaos Zero Nightmare with the live 2D and how it's performing could be very successful. That being said, I do also want to remind everyone that although it is by no means a failure, Outer Planes is not performing quite up to the same level as epicseven, though it is in a completely different art style, and the direction that they decided to go with for Outer Planes is a little bit different, especially with their decision making, and there being a couple things that they walked back on in terms of what was worthwhile from them to go down pathwise, monetization-wise. Excuse me. But I do just kind of want to point out that since they have brought back the live 2D aspect, and it looks like they are sticking with the gacha system that they have right now, that it was previously seen in epicseven, and even right now, just based off of what we see from the character trailers, feels like it would be apparent in games like Nikke or Counterside. I do actually have really high hopes for Chaos Zero Nightmare. Again, we don't know too much about the game, but it looks like there's going to be classes, it looks like there's going to be factions or elements, whatever you want to call it, which does indicate, in my opinion, that there is going to be some level of complexity. There are gacha games out there right now that have zero complexity, zero diversity, and zero kind of, strategy built into them. It's kind of just a pull and then have them stare on the wall. I don't think that's going to be the case, especially because the characters that we've seen so far don't even seem super, fan service baity kind of in nature. That being said, though, from what we see right now, I am pretty excited for what they have to offer or what they have in the future. Again, just in terms of release date, I did mention in my last video about Chaos Zero Nightmare that this game is slated to be released, I believe, in the second half of 2024 or later this year in 2024, which is really nice. But of course, they also have, there was an event that I'm trying to remember where it was. There was an event that they had where it was like if you retweeted or something, you could gain access to the game. Maybe it was just for the X launch. It might have just been the Amazon gift card. I could have recalled that they had something where they were going to allow people to have access to try the game. But if that's not the case, I still think that them deciding to do a follower launch event is pretty exciting because, of course, you get the free things. But usually when they have this frequent of posting, or they are this intent on posting and making social media posts, it usually means that they are not far off from allowing for an alpha, closed beta, whatever, beta, closed beta, any of these closed alphas, tests specifically for the game. So stay tuned for that. But in any case, guys, this was just kind of what I saw and what I'd gathered. This literally just popped up on my feed earlier. Apologies again, because I know this is a bit more of a people talk, more of a rant, and more of an analysis just based off of what we've seen right now. And we don't have that much to go off of. But again, this was literally posted an hour ago. Felt like it might be interesting to see or give my thoughts on the two different characters that have been teased so far. Thanks again for watching, though. If you enjoyed today's content, make sure to like, comment, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe. Apologies again for your ears if they got blasted out during this, but I'll try my best next time to have, Twitter not go off crazy. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Make sure to check out the rest of my socials. Thank you for all of you guys that are watching this content on my VOD channel. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thanks again. I'll see you on the next one. Good night.